Oh, hell yeah.
Guess what?
What?
No.
Welcome to Fermented Fiction!
Hey, what up?
What?
Welcome to Fermented Fiction. We are live right now. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Colin? Okay.
I heard that too, yeah.
Hey, what's up, humans? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Fermented Fiction, your podcast for all things genre fiction. Let's get right into it today. So, Travis is not going to be joining us.
What?
Because of an epic reason. Jeremy, what was the reason?
He sent me an email. I think it just said to find the real killer, whatever that means. I don't know.
All right, so whoever the killer was out there, they're not real. That ain't the killer.
Yeah.
Travis is on the case, though.
Yeah,
he's going to track down the real killer.
He's got red yarn,
He is
bulletin
just-
boarded.
I guarantee he's got a bulletin.
Man, I want to see.
I guarantee
I really
he's
wanna
got
see the
the red yarn, and I
Just-
guarantee that yarn is connecting some pins on a map.
Oh yeah.
And that map
I believe
is
it.
going to lead him to the real
How
killer.
else do you solve a
Yeah.
crime?
I don't think there's another way. If you've ever seen it done another way, you know, feel free to correct me. Internet, go ahead.
I've
correct
never
me.
solved crimes differently in my life.
But yeah, I've watched enough things. I'm pretty positive that the main way is to go ahead and put up one of them boards and get to work.
Yeah.
Get to the real
I
work.
mean, what are you doing if you don't do that?
Absolutely.
Drugs.
You can't solve a case without that.
No. And there's a lot, you know, whenever you watch a crime show, a crime movie, there's a lot they don't show you. They don't show you how long it takes to put up that bulletin board. They don't show you how long it takes to
The yarn
unspool
pulls out the
that
tacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
You have to get the
just
right
tag
size
everything.
tacks and
gotta
yarn.
create
right,
a little
that's right.
legend so that you know what the things are.
You have to like
And you
print.
need it first, not later.
That's true. And you have to print pictures of people and you have to put them up
Yeah.
in a
Didn't The Wire
logical,
struggle with that?
sequential
I
order.
vaguely remember in The Wire they like
It was
had
absolutely
to print out the
bananas in
photos and it
heroes.
like took time and shit.
I don't know. I hope so. I hope The Wire struggled with it.
Yeah.
The Wire was about struggle in a lot of ways. But today we're going to talk about another story about about a lot of types of struggle. And that story is the cyberpunk classic from Neal Stephenson, Snow Crash. Subbing in for Travis today, we got our boy Colin over here, who suggested the story in the
Whoa.
first place.
I mean, it's a real struggle because I know that it's Travis's favorite book of all time. So
Travis absolutely loved
if
this
only
book.
that crime didn't happen.
Yeah, if only he could tell us here how much he loves the book.
Yeah.
And he would.
Whoever was killed isn't
Vehemently.
even the real victim of this crime. It's Travis, because of that killer, who he now has to find, he doesn't get to talk about his favorite book of all time. Sorry about it, Travis. We're going to move on, though, because we need to get to this thing. Let's do it.
There's some D20s over here.
We're going to roll some D20s. We got them right here. Colin, you want to take a crack since it's your first time in the hot seat at explaining why we roll these D20s and what the hell we're even doing up in here?
I think Jeremy should explain it.
No, you should explain it.
Yeah, it's your deal.
Jeremy will do it next time.
Yeah, it'll be so good. I'm gonna explain like ain't nobody's business.
So
It's
we
called forced enrollment, this segment.
forced enrollment. We roll these D20s, take our chance with the Lord of Chance, and see who gets the higher roll, which then determines what they choose for a defense or a prosecution of said topic of the
Indeed.
night.
So we roll the high roll. We are stuck, as Colin said, the prosecuting roll. Or, no, the defense roll, sorry. High roll defends, low roll attacks, regardless of our actual feelings.
Whoa.
So, the Lord of Chance will decide. Before we get into forced enrollment, though, I did skip a segment. Colin, since you're in the hot seat,
Oh my
you want
god.
to tell a little life update? You got something cool going on in your life right now?
Life update. Let's see. I have been working on a book, a sci-fi novel,
Oh.
for a long time. I've worked on a couple, but this one is definitely going to be the one that I finish.
All right.
And it's not just talk. I'm definitely over 50,000 words, so
Oh hell yeah!
we're closing in.
You're far past the no-fall zone at that point. You have to finish it.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife reminds me.
Good. Hey, congratulations, man. It's a big deal to get past the that level of the book. where
Yeah,
you're
of course, I've definitely written over 100,000 words, but a lot of that got cut.
Right on. We will
It
talk about
happens.
that some more at another point. But congratulations on getting that far in your novel. Did
Sick.
you do Nano? Was that a Nano thing?
I basically try and do like 300 words a day, which is not nano numbers.
No.
But I mean, basically, not this November, but the previous one, I was definitely working on it,
Nice.
and I pushed through. It only took me, a year.
Attaboy.
My NaNoWriMo is all year, baby.
Yeah. Hey, that way it is
Nano
Nano
all
numbers.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter as long as you get there.
It really doesn't, as long as you get there. I have sort of a similar
Life update.
I guess. I've got the rough draft for both of the next two novels in the Crevasse series drafted right now.
2
Well,
Sick.
not novels.
trilogy.
Novellas, I should say, yeah. I was originally going to write just 2 of them, and I was going to do a full-length novel and a novella. Crevasse is obviously a novella. But I decided, there's just the way it came out, it split like right down the middle really well. So I was like, why not just keep them all 3 short and digestible? Because people like that about Crevasse, actually. And it's kind of a nice entry point for a new author to have like a easy to read, easy to buy kind of
Yeah.
book, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to make it a 3 novella trilogy situation.
Cool. Get that GIF box.
Yeah,
Sweet.
get that bundle, baby.
Bundle it.
Bundle up. So that's for anybody who might read my stuff. Crevasse has 2 more books coming in the series. I will not talk about when, but they do exist officially. So that's really exciting.
Sick.
Okay, before we roll.
Okay.
Turn this
Oh, yes.
on. Hide some paper.
Don't mind us. Just being extremely professional. All right. Force enrollment. Here's my D20. Colin's got his. We're going to roll these puppies.
Oh.
3, 2, 1. Ooh.
All right.
Oh, snap.
I beat him.
All right. 11
That's a
to 15
on the
I
die.
got the
15.
11 here. That's not going to do it. So I have to argue against Snow Crash, regardless of my true feelings.
And I'm going to leave you to it.
And Colin gets to...
I know, you get the whole thing to
Oh
yourself.
my god.
Oh, yeah. Get right in between both microphones. You'll be
Whoa.
like a perfectly kicked field goal right now.
We're going to have you
Wow.
in stereo.
Wow. All right. The defender always goes first.
All right.
And we are going in 3, 2, 1. Bam.
So I believe the only crime committed here, Your Honor, is the crime of awesome. And I mean, what can you say? Obviously, Snow Crash is objectively awesome, and sure, it committed the crime of awesomeness. It only influenced all other cyberpunk novels that followed. It only is considered one of the top novels in science fiction ever written in the 20th century. It's only considered, well, like top 100. It's only considered, I mean, you could go on and on. It's definitely usually within the same breadth of the whole genre of cyberpunk. There is Neuromancer and Snow Crash, this book. So what more do you want? It came later in the genre than Neuromancer, but it tied together everything and made a huge dent. And the term metaverse, which are, Zuckerberg, other in space, he also, he stole that directly from this book. This book coined the term metaverse and everything about it. And that was way back before basically most people had internet, and it was completely different than what we're used to. Certainly no VR. And there's a million other things about it, like just the VR portion of the novel, which is, I don't know, maybe a third of it, if that. It was hugely influential, but then the other portions on so many other things, like breaking up the United States into different franchises, and it's like this battle of future corporations that own the world, and sort of playing with stereotypes, and then super deep dive into archaeology and linguistics and all that stuff. That's all added on. That's classic Neal Stephenson style. And somehow it all ties together. Somehow he gets all these crazy things together. There's something for smart people. There's something for dumb people. There's something for everybody.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, it does all tie together. It's less of a somehow and more of a just 3/4 of the way through the book, he has his main character do a massive exposition dump on top of us. And until that point in the novel, you're kind of like, what's going on exactly? That's kind of how I felt through most of Snow Crash, and that's what I didn't like about it. I think it has some really awesome concepts, but I think it was a bit too grandiose to be realized in prose, honestly. It kind of not meanders, it more like battering rams its way through its own plot for like the majority of the novel. Because it's Neal Stephenson, if you've read anything else he's written, it's extremely intelligent, it's scientifically based, and it's going to be like founded in some like deep archaeological, linguistic, historical things. And so you've got these Gilgamesh references, these like Babylonian time references that are tied to like this teenage protagonist. Also hate that the character is named hero protagonist. That is a thing that I should like. But I don't know. For some reason, in this book, it just like annoyed me. Maybe it's because it seemed so in my face with it, which is what a lot of like the tongue-in-cheek tone of this book. It seemed like somebody writing tongue-in-cheek who doesn't actually like tongue-in-cheek and was actually making fun of it. As opposed to Douglas Adams, who is like a master of the tongue-in-cheek style of writing. This seemed a little bit more like, again, like if you're trying to be meta but you actually don't like meta stuff. It kind of seemed like that situation with the tongue-in-cheek tone. But the overall, it was just like an overly convoluted example of why the cyberpunk genre doesn't really work for me. I find it's not my preferred setting in general, and then Stevenson is kind of a granddaddy of this genre because of this book. And I feel like in this book, he actually establishes a lot of the things that I don't really like about it, which is that disconnect from real humanity, and that way, like the way that leads to like these weird, like, I don't want to say horror, but like body sci-fi things too. Like Colin, he's a character that he's basically like, he's in Mr. Lee's Hong Kong, and he's like, he's got like all these different parts attached to him. He's doing all these crazy things. I honestly,
NG?
Yes, NG. And I can't even honestly, like, I had a really hard time actually wrapping my mind around what that character looked like. I think I would have to read the book another 3 or 4 times, and I'm just not going to do that. Because, like I said, the main problem I had with it was the pacing. When I started this book, I loved like the pizza delivery at the beginning, and I thought I was getting that for like the whole book, but he crashes his pizza delivery vehicle and then he's just like not doing pizza anymore, and I was like, I kind of thought that was like going to be hero protagonist whole deal. And then like delivering pizza was life, and I thought that was kind of a cool angle, but he just abandons it. And I feel like not that he abandons Uncle Enzo or the pizza conglomerate, but he does abandon that like almost immediately. And I feel like he does that with a lot of things throughout the book. Like he'll introduce you to a cool funny thing or a unique niche kind of thing, and then just sort of drop it, and because he's trying to tie it all into this like philosophical bullshit, honestly, that
it's all together, right? I mean, the only problem with this book is it's too much, but that's better than too little. So just everything is in there, and it all gets mixed up and plowed through to the very end, and somehow it all works together. But I mean, it's hard to remove any of those elements and still have it, be streamlined. Like I wouldn't want to be the editor for this book.
No.
But it ties together. I mean, like everything has a couple things that hinge on it. So like the pizza delivery is the way that like data transfers work in a time when the whole United States is fractured. So you think it's going to be a pizza story, and then it turns out that guy is actually a katana wielding hacker, and then that evolves into him having a girlfriend that knows a bunch about archaeology and proto-linguistics, and it's hard to pick anything. You start pulling on one and it messes with the others.
Mm-hmm. I do think that too much is just as bad as too little, actually. I actually would almost have too little in a lot of situations. Because when you have...
Objection. Hearsay.
What's your objection? What? No, not hearsay. What hearsay? No. I do think that. I think that I would rather at least have a coherent thread to follow. But I felt like I got very lost in Snow Crash. And then... he fixed that by the librarian character, which I thought was honestly pretty lame. He spends
he's an AI, so I mean
he spends so long.
He has one job.
He spends so long sitting there talking to the librarian for page after page after page after page because Stephenson doesn't lace that exposition through his narrative. He just dumps it on us because he wants to have fun in his narrative. And I understand that that impulse, but come on, man. Lace your exposition through your narrative. I was not impressed.
Yeah, that's one part of the book, and then another part of the book, is this Inuit dude with that uses obsidian knives and has a nuke that he carries around with him that's connected to neural implants in his brain.
So your argument is that's just neato, or what?
I'm saying that you can't cherry pick this one scene that you hated and say that the whole book sucks because that one scene sucked. It's a tiny portion of the entire book, which has so much more going on.
I don't think it is one scene in the book. I think that scene is common throughout the book, and it's
name one more scene where the jury.
He talks to the librarian throughout the book.
But there's one scene that's obviously goes on quite a long time.
The one I'm referring to in particular is the longest
Talk,
of them. The TED Talk, yes. But there are librarian scenes throughout, and they come whenever he just needs to explain things to people. Because he, doesn't do it in the narrative through just the characters like a lot of other authors do. And I just wasn't impressed by that style. I don't like that style. It's the thing I don't like about Tolkien. Is I don't need to hear this much exposition. I really don't. I want to get back to the story.
Yeah.
And every time I
mean, you can just skip a few pages, It's a long book.
I did. Every time I saw the librarian, I was like, cool, I'll just skim this like it's Cliff Notes, and then I'll get back to the actual story. But I don't know. I'm not impressed by that method of exposition dumping. I don't like it. So that's my personal opinion. Also, what the hell? When did Raven and YT become that they were on a date?
Beer of the week.
Beer of the week!
Beer of the week.
Beer of the week.
Beer of the week, baby.
All right, let's get to our beer of the week.
Yeah, we'll talk about how the book got.
The question is, what's Clay gonna drink?
Well,
we're all gonna drink this one.
We're all gonna drink.
What is a beer that encapsulates Snow Crash?
This beer, I think, is the beer that encapsulates Snow Crash well.
It even encapsulates.
Encapsulates and encapsulates.
Boy, that encapsulates
being a word.
Bong Igloo.
Bong Igloo.
Yeah, okay.
Because when I was reading Snow Crash, I felt like I was inside a Bong Igloo.
Hot box in an igloo?
Absolutely. That book is an absolute mind and it was a lot of fun. Well, we will get to revealing our real thoughts in just a moment after we drink this delicious
First, Clay is going to pour over all the electronics like he always does.
Please do. Just
no.
What a man.
Look at these guys trusting me.
Trust is a strong word.
All
look at
frothy
that.
head.
Colin loves frothy head. I poured this one for him. I'm gonna finish it too. Here you go, Colin.
Oh,
That's
Jeremy,
I mean, it is the truth.
Just right.
Aw. That's
So what? So what does it say? It's a white.
This Bong Igloo is from Via Brewing. It's a collaboration between Via and Fracture. I love collaboration beers.
Oh, yeah.
It is a Belgian winter warmer.
Ooh. Wow.
Yes. I'll just drink from the can.
Spicy.
I'm also, in honor of Travis, gonna sip some shitty beers there today. He's already drank a PBR, but I started this puppy before the show.
What a
Just
legend.
get tuned up a little bit.
Tuned in.
Gonna
have us a show.
while we review. Cheers.
yeah.
Cheers, homies. Cheers. Thanks for being here.
Hell yeah.
Love the team. Love the Fermented Fiction team. This is a lot of fun.
FF.
Thanks for tuning in, you 12 to 15 people. Love you guys too.
Bring your friends.
Yeah. Yeah, please.
Smash that like button.
Bring them all. That is something we need to do better at, is like telling people to do stuff.
Yeah, do you think there should be more than 12 people watching this? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah. If you even know where those are, because, you know.
I don't know. Are there comments on Spotify? My wife has Spotify.
I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
There's definitely a
But
like
on
button.
YouTube,
yeah.
you could comment on those.
Do the thing.
Right.
You can even clip
on
on
there.
YouTube.
You could.
These are things I've just learned.
Head over to YouTube. That's, we're going to be doing a lot more YouTube stuff.
Check it out. There's like 3 whole episodes on there.
Absolutely. We got to get them all.
Which, I mean, if you're watching this, then you know that there's more. Now.
Absolutely.
They're like, there's 27 of these.
Watch out.
Or... wait, no, there's more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, by the time this... Oh, boy, you're in for a treat.
Don't continuity. Don't break the continuity.
Continuity's for nerds.
What are you tasting? This it's kind of like Hefeweizen-y, citrusy.
A little bit. Almost getting like an apricot flavor or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is something different in that.
Actually, it's tasting a lot like those dried apricots.
I wonder if apricot is in there.
I don't know, man.
This
The
doesn't.
warmer. Is the warmer part, does it have like
But how-
wintertime spices?
So this isn't.
Yeah, how much nutmeg did they grind
The
in here? I
color.
want to know. I know, it's
Nice orangey.
nice color.
It's got that cloudy hef.
I'm a
going.
big fan of Belgian beers. I love the combination of wheat and citrus.
Oh, yeah.
Tends to be in there. This does have something unique in it, like apricot. That's an interesting thing to bring up. I wonder if it's in here. Because it does. It's not just orange and like lemon, like the usual half. There's something else in here. It's very good.
Yeah, it is something, because I know it's not just citrus, because it has a certain, like, tartness.
Yeah, almost like nutty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you happen to be somewhere that you can find Via or Fracture or both, here it is. Bong Igloo.
Bong Igloo, baby.
It's a
What
delicious
an
beer.
igloo.
Thank you, Via. Thank you, Fracture, for bringing great beer into the world.
Yeah.
Also thanks to Special Brews.
Special Brews.
Our sponsor for the Fermented Fiction podcast. Special Brews is generous enough to give us our beers each month for free because they are awesome. So you should go check them out. Talk to Dan, talk to Jamie. They'll help you find whatever sort of beer you're looking for. They can also pour super fancy pours for you. They have a couple different machines in there to do some cool stuff that you can't just do anywhere.
Whoa.
I don't remember what it's called, but they pour this beer shot, basically, that's like 90% foam. But it's the way the nozzle works. It pours the foam, the way he described to me was like it pours it in an extremely tight fashion. So it almost tastes like you're drinking like cream, like beer cream. It's
Like a nitro style?
well, no, like, yeah, kind of. It's hard to explain, but I highly recommend they can do it with any beer you get.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
So if you go in there, like, get your favorite beer and ask for that, pour, whatever it's called, Dan,
Special
you know.
This is what people tune in
Oh,
to
yeah.
Fermented Fiction for, is to learn this cutting-edge technology.
It's really cool, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to learn more about beer, hit the like button so that we know that you want to learn more about beer.
For real, though, we will drink beers that are recommended to us.
Also do that.
So it doesn't even matter if it's bad, then we just have Travis drink it.
Yeah, he'll
It's
drink
almost like we
anything.
enjoy genre fiction and brews
Yeah.
in our spare time.
I wouldn't say equal.
Perish the thought.
All right. Let's move on to our next segment. So our next segment is where we reveal what we actually thought of Snow Crash.
Well, I
because
mean, sometimes there's a segment between those.
Oh, you're right, Jeremy. You're sorry.
Whoa,
Yeah.
party foul.
Right.
Come on.
Jeremy first has a segment. So does Colin. Colin, his segment is fun facts about whatever work we're doing, and Jeremy's segment is I have notes.
Boy, do I.
So first, let's do the fun facts.
Yeah, fun facts,
Colin,
because
do
we
the
want
fun
to
facts. What you got?
let's learn a little bit more about this crazy psychedelic journey that is Snow Crash. So Neal Stephenson has written a lot of books, and they get gianter as you go along.
And
so
he's just an absolute G. I do want to say that. Absolute
he's just been plugging away
Neal Stephenson
for the last 40 years, doing anything he wants. And like inevitably you will learn like stuff you had never heard of, even though you got a college degree in something related. You still will not heard of the stuff that he brings up in his books.
Extremely smart human being.
So this book, he wanted it to be a computer graphic novel, you know, so think
In the 90s.
right. He literally got the idea because his Macintosh at that time would do a snow crash. Like that was a problem with his computer. Real thing. And he was like, whoa, it looks like it was like the snow crash bug. And that gave him the idea for the whole book. But he wanted to do it as this a collaboration with another guy and program it and be like really interesting. And of course, that makes perfect sense when you're reading the book. It's like, oh yeah, that would be perfect. But then he said like that would take way too much time.
Well, yeah, he said he spent like way more time coding than he was doing writing. And he was finally like, maybe I should just write this thing.
Yeah, and for a neuromancer shout out, like I was told by another writer that neuromancer was all done on a typewriter.
Wow.
So this Snow Crash is Neal Stephenson's clearly was into it, you know, labor of love. And so he also has been, I've already brought up, referenced by a bunch of people in Silicon Valley. The metaverse is now a term, and his work actually influenced those programmers for building VR. It's been part and parcel of the whole development. You know, programmers have told him personally that they, you know, got this idea from him, from his book, from his works, you know, programmed this certain thing to match what was, you know, make real what they had read, you know, when they were kids. And a lot of it is, you know, taken just a lot of the stuff about viruses and brain stems and archaeolinguistics, you know, is real stuff.
Oh, yeah. I thought I was reading a little bit about the relation of Snow Crash to the bicameral mind, which I've not read, but I've heard of a lot. As like a history and English major, there's a lot of crossover with that book. It's been mentioned like throughout my education, but I've still never read it. I should.
Yep. How dare you?
But yeah, I found the like crossover between tech in this novel and like you said, archaeolinguistics and history to be very fascinating. I love that idea that religion is a virus. That's always been a very controversial but interesting topic to me. Because when you do think, as a big Douglas Adams fan, I have long thought of humans as the virus on the Earth computer. And Neal Stephenson obviously has a very similar idea about that these ideas that humanity carries, including the idea of its own relevance and importance to the universe, and like its manifest destiny, do spread like a virus, you know?
It's also really trippy, the stuff that you read in Snow Crash, and then you're like, whoa, yeah, that actually happened. For instance, there was...
hyperinflation.
Yeah, hyperinflation, like... but I was thinking in terms of gargoyles, which are characters in the story that always are broadcasting. You know, they're essentially Twitch streamers
Wearing all their tech.
Streamers, absolutely.
And yeah, it's 100%. And like that's
and they're different. I mean, they're 90s styled.
Google Glass if I could.
Yeah.
If it didn't implode and shit itself into oblivion.
Absolutely.
So it's like Snow Crash is like, you know, too ahead of itself. Like at that time you would need like processors that were literal computer parts on your body, and now it's like now you just need a little phone. But definitely same thing going on.
No one could have predicted that, as evidenced by any movie made from the 70s to the early 2000s. Like, I still laugh whenever I watch an old sci-fi movie and I see buttons. I'm like, you fool. You had no idea.
The Demolition Man got weirdly close, though.
Actually, yeah.
It's so many things. It's a banana movie, but it got a lot of future telling right.
Bananas, indeed. And speaking of bananas, Jeremy, what kind of thoughts you got over there?
Oh boy, do I have some thoughts.
I bet you
You have some
You're
thoughts
gonna talk
about this?
The weirdly horny thing, aren't you?
It's gonna come up, but I mean, come on.
It has to.
Okay, first of all, his notebook is in code.
Yeah,
Like, these are alien symbols that are in his notebook.
these are my notes. I've been learning to write
In a
the
language
alphabet
that he
I
made.
created. Yeah, I'm rewarding repeat viewers because they get to see the entire progression from when Colin asked if, like, oh, do you write in a code, to now, where I am.
Oh my god.
Okay.
We have entire story
wingdings?
arcs. What?
Is that wingdings?
No, bro, it's all
It's a cool code, Clay.
variations on triangles and squares and the vowels, like they connect things. You know?
So it's like the old, like the scribes of old.
Yeah.
They had like basically a shorthand code so they could keep up with people talking.
Yeah, kinda.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he also calls Bond the devil, but
Yeah, no,
That
but
helps.
that's a side gig.
That's a different,
Yeah,
that's a gig side hustle.
it increases my speed by like 15%.
If you want to know about calling the devil, follow Jeremy's Twitch stream.
Now I gotta get a Twitch stream. Frick.
That's another story arc.
Yeah.
You just called it.
Yeah, just look me up. I'm at a harmless weirdo on Twitter.
Yes.
Isn't that great?
Also, that took me a while to find. I was like, where is Jeremy? I want to tag him in this thing.
I know, it took forever. I kept saying harmless weirdo or another harmless weirdo, and I was like,
You
it's just
fool.
a.
Yeah,
It's just
I'm
a
just-
harmless weirdo.
I'm
The
just a
only one.
harmless weirdo.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Well,
Just one of many harmless weirdos. Anyway,
What do you got?
notes. So I like to point out that this is the only book I've read aside from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy for this show where I actually remember the protagonist's name. It was very thoughtful to name him hero protagonist.
Actually, love that.
Yeah, that's
Gonna.
it's incredible.
It's Hyro protagonist.
Excuse you.
As H.I.
The audiobook
It is.
begs
Pretty
to
sure it's
differ.
hero. Pretty sure. It's
Yeah. It's hero.
I've also watched multiple animes where it's spelled that way, and it is pronounced hero.
Yeah, and
All of them.
hero from Heroes, who is a hero,
He is a hero, isn't he?
is spelled Hiro.
Hero from Gundam Wing,
Yeah.
spelled Hiro.
It came after. Doesn't count.
Maybe they all count. Maybe they're all based on this hero protagonist.
Yeah, because Hero from Heroes, he wields a sword sometimes.
Only Neal Stephenson can tell us.
That's
Which I
Neal
think that
Stephenson,
leads me
come on the show.
into-
Tune in.
Tune on in. Come on over and answer.
Call in. We'll get you on the...
But yeah, no, that leads me somewhat nicely into one of my other points, which is about Hero's business card. It is incredible, and I want to have the kind of confidence that he has to just write world's greatest sword fighter on his business card that he just gives to people. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. That's incredible, and I love that.
You have to respect it.
It's very anime.
It's so anime, which, hey, that's a great way to bring me to one of my other notes, is that this book wants so hard to be literally any other medium, specifically.
I was going to say at some point that they cannot make a film version of this. It will not work.
And they can make an anime.
They could make
Oh, yeah.
out of that anime.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They need to go the arcane route. They need to go
Yes.
like anime series
Yeah.
on Netflix.
Right.
It would crush.
Yeah, it would crush. Even, well, they might skip the bit that gets weirdly horny, but other than that...
I think people like weirdly horny things.
Keep it.
No, they absolutely love it, but please...
I was just watching, my wife was watching this mermaid show. That's all it is.
Weirdly
all it is weirdly horny?
Yeah, Tidelands. All it is weirdly horny. No one has a monogamous relationship.
fair.
Well, sure, I mean, they're mermaids. they reproduce by...
And sirens and pirates.
Like clouds of water, just
Get
weird
all
cloudy water.
in there. There's no place for monogamy. And you just blast your sperm into the ether.
Yeah, they're not.
See who gets
They're
it.
not mammals. They don't have that. Okay.
They do in this show.
Females lay
They
eggs.
got...
Wait, are they mammals?
Are they mammals? Why would they?
Do they give birth from their bellies or do they lay eggs?
I mean, they gotta be like platypi, right?
No, I don't know, Colin. We're asking. We don't
Yeah.
know Tidelands. We don't know about the weird.
Are they semi-aquatic or are they?
They
just
have
regular
legs. They look like
aquatic?
normal.
Oh,
The characters are actually half mermaid, as far as
What
I
is
know.
that?
How do you?
Are they doing the supernatural thing?
How's
where they're
the
too
half?
lazy to do CGI, so they're like, we're just gonna say
They're half
dragons have a human form.
You can't just do a medium shot. Can't just do a medium shot for a lot of it. Okay, that's
no
fine.
lights.
They want
No lights.
they want the sex position in the show.
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah. You can't do boning if you're just medium shots.
Well, I think they don't want to get in the weeds of what does it look like when the mermaid,
Then they shouldn't have brought it up.
the guy.
Done mermaids. Come on.
If you don't want to explain how mermaids are doing it, then don't do mermaids.
That's right. That's right.
You know?
Cloacas?
Ew.
Is that just birds?
This
I
guy.
don't know.
What is it when it's a fish?
Jeremy, what's next?
I don't even know where I was going next with that because we got onto mermaids.
Why don't you just get into weirdly horny? We
Okay,
don't want to get there.
so like, yeah,
YT's 15.
yeah. Oh my god! And they make a point earlier in the book before her and Raven do their thing, where she's like, "Oh, I might be kind of attracted to this if he wasn't so old." Hopefully he doesn't get that same idea too, because he's old, and that's gross.
Indeed.
And then Raven, who is also old, and that's gross, but only to me, I guess, because it's not gross to YT.
Didn't seem gross to YT.
No.
Was that scene as weird to anyone else as it was to me? I felt like I didn't know they were like they had not really interacted before in the book, right? Raven and YT. They kind of just like
No, not
I don't think so.
they're just kind of suddenly on a date. Like it started off because doesn't she like literally ask who he is?
Yeah,
early
like
in their
she.
date, and then it's like now you guys are just
Well, she knew. I mean, earlier in the book, like, she's with Hero when they see Raven.
She knows.
Like, she
of
knows
Raven.
She knows
about
of Raven.
Raven, but like.
Yeah, I don't know if they meet in person.
But when they start dating, they just start. They go on this date basically because he's the only not brainwashed person on the
On the
boat.
raft. Sure, sure. And
He's like-
also, worst date of all time, right?
Yeah, that's
I
not.
mean, he leaves her there for like 2 days.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not 2 days, but it's a long time.
It's not good, but like, I don't know how long was she on the raft? Because she'd be pretty thirsty at that point. You know, I don't know.
Well, I assume she was getting some manner of service at her table. I don't remember if it specifies. Been a couple weeks.
I don't remember.
Was she drinking and eating the whole time? Was she? She was at the table just waiting while he like went and ordered rich people, and he comes back, right? And then he's like, "Let's go bang." Basically,
Like, was anybody else on the raft trying to bang her? That's the question I was asking.
I don't think so because they
There you
knew
go.
she was with Raven.
I mean,
No,
he
like,
has a
before
Soviet
Raven showed
nuclear
up.
warhead, so I mean, that's just
Before
the biggest
Raven
turn.
showed up, was he just spreading the rumors like, "Hey, that skater girl, that's," and everyone was like, "Oh, shit." Was that going on in the background? I just didn't.
There are a lot of references to how hot she is.
There's a lot
mean,
of
I
that.
guess.
Sure.
And that's
Which again,
it's weird.
could we not? She's 15.
Yeah, it makes a
Go ahead and
point.
make your character hot.
I know,
Go
these
ahead,
things-
but why does she have to be 15?
Like, in my head, I forget that she's 15.
Yeah,
it's very
you
easy
know,
to do that.
She's because in my head she's casted. She's like a 20 28-year-old actress
she's-
casted as that younger part.
Yeah. Which
Which-
They did that in Game of Thrones. They increased the
I was-
ages of all the characters.
Just gonna say that because
Yeah,
I
you want
remember in
that.
when I would talk to people about Game of Thrones about how gross Littlefinger was as a character because of the Sansa stuff,
yeah.
and people would be like, "I don't know, it doesn't seem that weird. It kind of makes sense. Here's all these reasons why a woman would be attracted to a guy like Littlefinger." I'm like, bruh,
Bruh.
in the book, Sansa is like 13 years old.
Yeah.
Littlefinger is like 40. Not good.
Not good.
Nothing good about it. Super gross.
Love knows no bounds.
I think that's something else.
Colin,
But,
there's some things to not say on the show.
I mean, in Game of Thrones, there are dragons, all right? It's medieval Europe.
It's true.
with dragons.
I know. So, like, yeah, marriage was different back then and all those things. I know.
What
that's
age can you get
story.
married in Montana?
18.
yeah, that's
It's not.
That can't be.
It's not
It can't be
another
right.
state. I'm not going to point at a state that I know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure it's 18. It could be 16. I don't know.
I think it depends on like if you have parents' permission. The earliest you can get married just on your own is 18.
Is 18, I believe. Yeah, I think age of consent is possibly 16.
Yeah, I think age of consent is 16, and then
But that's pretty common, I think.
yeah, that's
know.
not
I'm not condoning it.
I'm not either.
Clarification.
condoning it.
It sounds like you were. You said love knows no bounds.
Love
Jeremy
knows
and
no
I-
bounds.
Love.
Like,
Marriage is different.
How is marriage different from love?
It just is.
Well, how?
Well, you can be in love with someone and not want to marry him. That's for sure. Absolutely.
so, like, speaking
you
of
can marry
absolutely
someone
nothing related,
That is true too.
I have one final note.
3 married men
I'm
need
just-
to get off this track as soon
I'm just, I'm just cutting this right off, doing my damnedest. Anyway,
Jeremy.
thank you. But
Do you
so
have some more notes?
I have one final note. The one final note
I hope
is
it's weirdly horny.
no, we already covered weirdly horny.
No.
Oh God, that's it.
Yeah, we already did the weirdly
I'm
horny.
out. Let's go watch Tidelands.
That's
Listen, you say that. The flood is going to come in of requests.
yeah.
Bring it.
Our inbox will be full.
Tidelands, like and subscribe.
Yeah, leave a like
We'll
if
do
you
it.
want us to watch
I will sell
Tidelands.
myself for the Tidelands.
Yeah, leave a like if
I'm
you
gonna have
want
to
us to
clip
watch
this now.
Tidelands, or leave a like if you don't want us to watch Tidelands, and we'll know the difference. We'll count them up.
We'll
at
pull
the
an
end.
Elon Musk. We'll put a poll up.
Absolutely. And
we have to abide by the
we will
poll.
silence you.
Yeah.
Jeremy, what is your note?
So my last note is
We'll do this.
so Raven
Get
has a nuke,
Indeed.
and they go to great lengths to establish they're like, oh, this guy has a nuclear warhead,
They really like you.
and then it just that's it. That's okay. Everything's fine, I guess.
Forgotten.
Because
Doesn't he nuke America at the very end? Doesn't he fulfill his purpose?
I don't know,
I thought he nuked
I
America.
feel like
That
I
was
should
how it
know.
ends
but
with Raven. He dies and he nukes America.
Did he die?
Kills Uncle Enzo. They fight each other. They do the whole thing.
I know they fought each other.
They both, I think, die. I don't remember
I'm-
for sure if
Yeah.
Uncle Enzo
Think
dies.
so?
I know for sure Raven dies.
I figured they both died.
I think
Yeah.
they both died. They both get severely f***ed up.
Yeah, they definitely do. I don't know. The book just didn't, at least at my
The ending
reading,
was weird.
pay attention to the fact that, like, oh yeah, he had a nuke though. It just kind of left that there, scooted past it.
Yeah, Chekhov's nuke.
Chekhov's nuke may or may not have gone off.
the smoking
something like. Because I don't know, did he carry it with him, or is it like,
Well, yeah, I think it's a little feller.
oh, is this a little
Yeah,
feller?
with him.
So he just had it on the boat.
He had it all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is weird when people talk about Snow Crash as like one of the greatest cyberpunks ever written, but like it has so much about how there's no United States. There's just franchises that run various sectors where they are like McDonald's. Like you go to McDonald's Land and there's one in several in LA Basin alone. And so it's like, that doesn't really fit with cyberpunk stuff necessarily. So it's like hard to be like, oh, he nuked America, but it's like, well, it's not America. It's like CIA is like some organization that is shadowy that doesn't have a country to run.
Yeah.
You know?
That's
like,
It's so weird.
I mean, it's as anime as it is like super 90s. So you have that like corporate cynicism and everything, and it's like, oh, everything's gonna be super expensive and everything's gonna be like pollution and gross, and there's gonna be racist dudes just in bars that you can cut up with a sword. Nobody's gonna care because, you know, that's the boss's problem. The boss of that franchise area. So everything's franchised now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the 90s.
Right. Although, I don't know. Well, we'll get into the next segment, which is telling what we actually feel and just open discussion about Snow Crash. But, so as the attacker, I'll go first. I lied a little bit. I do like Snow Crash as a whole, so I did have to lie about that bit. But I was telling the truth about being confused for a good portion of the novel and not particularly caring for the exposition dump strategy of making all the history stuff make sense. I think that was somewhat necessitated by, like, again, that tongue-in-cheek style that he did employ. He, like, sort of wasn't taking himself seriously, but definitely was. And I think there was some conflict there in the narrative that didn't quite match up. But other than that, I thought Snow Crash was extremely well done. I did really like the historical and linguistic religion is a virus, humanity is a virus themes that ran throughout the book. And I think it helped that I've read a few other stories like that, so I could kind of see that this was where that was going. And I kind of knew that Snow Crash was sort of a granddaddy for a lot of those things. So I was like, oh, this is that thing. So that kind of helped out with my understanding of it. But otherwise, I think I would have been even more confused. So that's kind of where I am with Snow Crash. But overall, super fun, super goofy. Like you said, I felt like I was reading an anime. And like, I love the like skater theme. I mean, one of my favorite parts of the book, and this is stupid, but one of my favorite parts of the book was like that Poon commercial. and then YT is remembering when she's like talking about her like self-recovering skateboard wheels or whatever that they have, and it's like a commercial all done in surfer lingo, and that was awesome. I was like, yes, this is so true. Like, from a guy who's obviously spent some time on the beaches around these like LA surf dudes, like you can totally.
I know, you just want, what did she call it? Her plank?
Yep.
Yeah, you just want a plank so bad.
I have a plank. I got a longboard. Yeah.
Does he look like he doesn't have
But do the wheels expand and contract and mold to the surface that they're on?
See, there's your problem.
So that's where like you read that and you're like, oh my god, there are those mono wheel things that people are riding around in Soto for Amazon and stuff, you know, just to get to work, and they plug them into their work computer to charge. It's like basically the same thing, but this one's way cooler.
Yeah, I mean,
we would all want to ride YT's plank, and that's not a euphemism.
I
don't
would
think
hope
YT
not.
has.
I don't think that one.
She doesn't have a. Okay, never mind.
Not to get into gender, we're gonna move on.
The book makes it pretty clear that that's not how her system works.
It does. It's very.
It makes it clearer than I wanted to know.
Yeah. But she rides a mean plank. YT does.
Doesn't she
all
ever?
Over that book, and it's pretty awesome.
And sometimes it is a euphemism.
Sometimes it is. So props to YT. Way to ride the plank. Good job. You're inspiring.
Just planking.
Inspiring plank riders all over the place. And that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Godspeed.
So overall, yeah, I liked Snow Crash. There were some things I didn't like, but I already talked about those. What did you guys really think about Snow Crash?
I agree. I think by and large it's really good. It is like total ADHD, everything that was in Neal Stephenson's head at the time that he researched the hell out of. So Yeah, I think it does it work? Sure. But there are definitely like long diatribes in there. And it's a lot of fun. It's like a crazy anime that's gone wild. There's definitely some parts where I was like, well, that's just bad writing. I mean, there's like one line that was like, the paragraph ended and then it was like, they got out of the car, period. Next paragraph. And going on. It's like, okay, that was useless. It's almost like that was a note for him to come back and put something in there, So I think portions of this book are very well written and other portions are not. They're like the first draft, not the third draft. So it definitely there's a lot of stuff that you almost, I think the beginning is pretty topsy-turvy because it's about Hiro doing a pizza delivery and then that's not what he is and that's not what it's about, and then like YT picks that up and it's very odd, and it like I would want, if I was the editor, I would probably redo the beginning because it didn't quite fit what's going on for the rest of it.
Yeah, if it didn't pay off at the end, I would have just been like, what the hell?
Yeah, but I also think that, I mean, Neal Stephenson's writes these huge books, so I don't think it's really fair to judge, his books by the first 20 pages because you got to read 100 pages to like get some of the characters in there that all of his books are about. So
yeah, well, and that chapter definitely served to hook me. I mean, I thought it was awesome and hilarious. I was like I remember he's like, and worse, oh god, worse, the pizza's late, and I love this establishment of stakes that delivering a pizza is like the end of the world for this guy.
Yeah.
See, that really puts things in perspective.
I thought, I thought that too, but also that, he's called the Deliverator.
I know.
And I don't know why.
That is so good.
It was that was a cool choice to like call the hero protagonist the Deliverator for the first 10 pages.
It was...
I don't know why.
I would still read an entire book that's just a deliverator, just deliverating the out of pizzas.
That is the saving grace of this book, is like, there's a bunch of memorable scenes, and you're like, I would read a whole book about that. Well, just delivering pizzas in LA in this world, like that's cool as shit.
Yeah, and that was kind of my problem with the book, was like, there seemed to be like 5 or 6 points in the book where he had a thing like that, and then he just dropped it. And it's like, we're moving on. We're still doing a Gilgamesh thing. Let's keep going. We're way deeper than just delivering pizzas here. I'm like, I don't think you should be. I think you should be delivering pizzas.
Yeah, you hooked me
and tying that in everything else.
On this combination Judge Dredd, but with pizzas thing.
Yeah. I think that's a good... that's a good one-liner for Snow Crash.
That is just straight up how it starts off, and then it goes off on this sort of pseudo-archaeological historical adventure, which I'm down for, but I still wonder, like, pizzas maybe.
It is an interesting choice to establish your character in a certain way, and then to just basically completely drop that, because never again does Hiro deliver a single pizza.
Yeah.
He, like, at the end of the story apologizes for wrecking the car and all that to Uncle Enzo, but it's like, I don't know. I thought that was an interesting choice. They always tell you when you're learning to write, like, be very cognizant of who you start with and where you start them and why, And I've only read Snow Crash the one time, so I'm sure if I read it again, there'd be some stuff in there. So I would like to put this disclaimer out there. Neal Stephenson, 10 times the writer that I am, 100 times the writer I am.
Whoa.
Or anybody else in this room put together with me. Neal Stephenson is an absolute master.
No, that's fine.
He is. That is objective.
I sort of, rereading it, I did get the sense that, like, Hiro is, like, an unnamed character, and then he becomes a named character, and then it's like the delivery is passed off to the actual person who's good at that. And that's sort of the transition that happens. Yeah,
and there's
so it's almost like, and I get that sense from Neal Stephenson where, like, he's very ideas driven. So sometimes
the idea of passing a thing to another thing. That's
I mean, there's one chapter that starts out with, like, the dude who was a high school kid and had dreams of doing one thing and then got into the mafia and met Uncle Enzo and opened his own franchise and wore the blazer that the rest of them wear. And it's like this ridiculous page after page after page about this guy who does not matter at all for the story. It's just all an excuse to like, introduce you to the worlds that would be your life if you were a young mafia, a Yoma.
Yeah.
Which I think when you read the whole book, it's like, that's great. It establishes the setting and kind of pulls me into the understanding of how it works, the world works. But so there's a lot of ideas. It's very ideas driven, and there are characters who were brought up who were just dropped.
Yeah,
all that stuff's intentional, and all that stuff does go with the idea of like people and societies develop as they spread ideas, whether that be through language or whether that be through culture or ideas, but like these things spread out and expand and like grow like a virus in a software. That was definitely a key point in the novel throughout, I think, and frankly I think I would need to read it one or two more times to even get close to like grasping everything that Stephenson was talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Because obviously he's a massively intelligent writer with a background in science and like coding and all these things. I have no idea what's going on. So I'm looking at it at like the narrative level, which I feel like in this book is the surface level. Like the ideas in there are very, very, very dense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's... Oh.
We're not alone.
There's another.
It's in the room.
But no, there's just a ton going on at any given moment in the book, and most of it really works for me until you get to the end where everything just sort of... And like, here it all is, like, okay.
Yeah. The ending did feel a bit rushed and a bit flat for me.
Yeah. Like, there's this moment where, whatever her name is like, I am a neurolinguistic hacker now. I'm not giving that up. Like, what did...
Juanita?
Yeah, Juanita. Like, how... You're not gonna explain that anymore? Or show us any of, like, what you're gonna do with that? You just can't do that. That's cool. I can't. So that's alright.
Yeah, unless you had the antenna and all that, so... The Deus Ex antenna situation going on there.
And that's pretty good.
There was a lot of Deus Ex at the ending. In my opinion, wasn't the biggest fan of the ending.
It's the thing that gives me the real sense that the book wanted to be so much longer.
Seriously.
But then they're like, no, you have to wrap this up.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that vibe.
It's been 500 pages.
Just finish now.
Like time, Neal. Yeah.
It's like I have 10 more chapters. Like, cut them. This isn't gonna make sense. Like, that's fine.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's all true.
That's fun. I'll watch the Amazon series, the Netflix series. I'll even watch the Hulu series, but that's only because I don't pay for it.
Is there a series coming?
I don't know.
Anyway?
I mean, I assume there's talk of it.
There's been a lot of talk of it for a long time.
Like, they even made Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency a series on Hulu, so Snow Crash is gonna happen.
You would sure think so.
Yeah.
Especially in this world of like VR coming in and all that. Like, it seems rife to make a Snow Crash series right now.
Yeah, there's a long history. Amazon Studios in 2017 said they were going to do an hour-long science fiction drama television show based on Snow Crash.
1 hour?
I'm so glad they failed.
I don't think that happened.
I'm glad.
And then HBO was going to acquire it from Paramount, but then after 2 years, they didn't go forward, and it reverted back to Paramount.
Interesting.
All right, Paramount, get on it. I want to see the Paramount.
Sounds very much like that Hollywood hell, where something is just continually. It's like someone has the rights to it because they don't want anyone else to use it.
Hell.
I mean,
that's what it is.
They warn every young creative to never sell your rights because of that exact thing. Like, selling your rights doesn't mean your book gets made into a movie. It means it never gets made into a movie. Which is really crappy, but interesting. Like, sharecropping. People, like, refuse to give up the rights to a thing just because they know someone else will want it.
Right. I think it
waiting for a big offer.
It makes a lot more sense for a book like, what was that one? Living Bodies, Warm Bodies, and The Martian, and stuff like that are pretty self-contained, obvious linear storylines compared to like Snow Crash. It's just like, how would you film that?
Snow Crash has to.
Let's keep it in development hell.
Snow Crash needs to be an anime, straight up,
for sure.
And
if they make Snow Crash as an animation, I will totally watch it.
Yeah.
If they do it any other way, I probably won't. Frankly.
Yeah. It needs to be anime, otherwise it's not going to be as good.
No, it'll be like trying to make Dragon Ball Z live action. It's just like, has that ever worked? No. Will it ever work? No. Will we keep trying? Probably.
God, yes.
Can we not?
We obviously will. And you're just going to have to be.
But what if Henry Cavill was like, I really want to make Snow Crash live action?
I mean,
Who would he be?
I don't know.
Who would he be?
Who would he be?
It wouldn't make any sense.
No.
He'd be Raven.
He can't be Raven. He's white.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what role is there for just a jacked white dude
Snow
in
Crash
Snow Crash?
Uncle Enzo
is relatively devoid of jacked white
I
dudes,
guess.
actually.
I mean, they didn't say that Uncle Enzo wasn't jacked.
They did.
They basically said he was. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but is that what you picture when you... I picture, like, The Sopranos or The Godfather.
Yeah,
That's
I
what
picture,
I
like...
picture an old Italian dude with a haircut like mine, like, and a blazer, and a baseball bat.
Yeah, I picture
and
like
a
that...
Supreme
But then he like
That
rips his pants and
1940s
takes off his shoes and silently.
See, I picture that
special
sort
ops.
of 1940s idea of like a big burly tough guy where you can't tell if he's like in good shape or if he just hasn't exhaled yet. It's like, "Ugh."
That's a good point.
Yeah,
I see the
picture
same.
that.
I think I see the same.
You know?
Dad bod.
Yeah, dad bod.
Uncle Enzo's got a dad bod for sure.
Like sturdy
Sure.
for sure.
Yeah. He's
But-
not like fat,
No,
but he's not.
He's ripped.
He's not not.
He
not
is.
jacked.
He is dad jacked.
Dad jacked. I think we can reach a general consensus. All in favor of Uncle Enzo being dad jacked.
Dad jacked. Yeah,
Dad jacked.
Dad jacked.
All right.
Love that.
Oh my god.
Good. All right. Well, we're down to our final segment, which is where we say, how many beers do you need to enjoy Snow Crash? The most chaotic
Oh, I forgot
ranking
about
system
this.
of all time. How many? We don't rank by stars. We don't rank on any sort of scale. It is just, how many do you need? And the items in question are beers. So, Jeremy, how many beers would you need, or would you recommend someone drink before and during reading Snow Crash to enjoy it to the full?
Okay. Before, you probably don't need one. During, you'll want one, sipping.
Sipping.
If you run out, you can sip another one. When you get to the end, you'll want 6
Start
right
chugging.
away.
Start chugging.
6 right away and be like, oh, that's sick. And then you'll be sick. And it'll be great. Yeah.
All right. So, in total, you're going to need like,
I guess 7 or 8.
all right, 7 or 8.
Not a one-day affair.
7
Yeah.
or 8 out of infinity. Colin, how many beers?
Okay, this
Snow Crash.
book is a journey. So you're going to need to start off right with, a beer. And then you're going to get to the archaeolinguistic portions and you'll need a cappuccino for sure.
Agreed.
I guess that
Right.
cancels
And
out.
then you're going to hit some metaverse stuff and you're going to be, just crossfading for a bit.
Colin's recommending
And then
multiple references to enjoy Snow Crash.
yeah.
Count these up.
Because it just depends where you are in the book, man.
This
You're gonna need a little bit of everything.
Okay.
How do I put that into a number? I don't know. 7.
There we go. That's a number, all right.
You're gonna need 7. They're not all beers,
They're not
but you're gonna need 7.
Need 7 of them.
Some of them are just straight up shots.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you would definitely need a whiskey at one point, in particular.
I have to agree. I think this whole it's a pretty wild ride. I think you could be pretty sloshed for the majority of it if you really wanted to. So I should just grab yourself an ice cold 30-pack and get going.
Spend that
Right in.
$5.50
Just strap
for a
it.
6-pack of Colt 45.
And just get right. Agreed. All right. Well, I think that's about a discussion on Snow Crash, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Fermented Fiction. Please like and subscribe.
And share and do all that cool stuff.
Share stuff, like stuff, subscribe to stuff.
What are we doing
Follow
next?
us on
Tell
Twitter.
us.
You can find all the links, and if you want us to cover a particular thing, if you want us to drink a particular beer, put it down in the comments. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.
How close this? Stop. This.